What's up, Brick Pals? It's been brought to my attention that I have the tendency to use some rather obscure language on this channel. Kinda something I'm working on, to be quite honest. But it reminded me that for all my talk of using words precisely, I'd given scant if any attention to the kinds of resources serious writers and speakers should be using. That's why today's discussion will be the first in a two-part series about choosing your dictionary. Attend and learn, dear friends. Your Square Esquire and lovable prig is giving all manner of writers, rewriters, and speakers tips and tidbits on the lexical tools of their trade, the better that they might be able to distinguish themselves as careful users of the language and take their communication skills from enough to effective. I release videos every other Thursday, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a chance to learn the best ways with words. With that said, let's get underway. The first dictionary we're going to be talking about is Merriam-Webster's Collegiate. This is the one that is used for the mobile application and its website. One of the important things to note about Merriam-Webster's dictionaries is that they are very much considered the true descendants of Noah Webster's American Dictionary of the English Language, first published in 1828. Merriam-Webster's dictionaries are also considered the gold standard when it comes to American spelling. No small thing when you consider that words like offense, humor, naturalize, judgment are spelled differently across the pond than they are here. I think the other thing about these dictionaries that's important to note for professionals, editors, or speechwriters is that Merriam-Webster tends to be a little bit more permissive when it comes to admitting controversial usages. As some of you may remember, well, hopefully all of you remember, that I discussed the word plethora a while back, and how far from meaning much, it means too much. But according to Brian Garner in his Modern English Usage, Merriam-Webster's Collegiate was among the first of the dictionaries to record that controversial usage of abundance. Kind of something to keep in mind when you're trying to determine whether the use of a word is legitimate. The publisher actually expends a lot of ink in its own Dictionary of English Usage, explaining how the sense of abundance came about for the word plethora, and tries to justify its existence. I mean, they justify all sorts of usages in this book. Next up is Webster's New World Dictionary. No relation. Another American desk dictionary in our list. It was first published by the World Publishing Company in Cleveland, Ohio in 1951. And because it was published as recently as 1951, I happen to have the first edition right here, which is kind of a behemoth, as well as this 2018 printing of the 5th edition that we're going to be focusing on. And in the 70 years since this first edition was published, Webster's New World Dictionary has evolved to be the official dictionary not just of the Associated Press style book, like it says, but also the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, and United Press International. Now, this dictionary is cool not only because it puts a little star next to certain words that originated specifically in America, but also, contra Merriam-Webster, it takes a more measured approach to controversial usages. Sure, it'll list them, but it'll also let the reader know if a given use is still considered loose, slipshod, or sloppy. And actually, looking up the word plethora, I can see that the sense abundance isn't even listed. Thus, it's hardly any surprise to find that in the New York Times Manual of Style and Usage, it actually counsels against the use of the word plethora to mean a lot. Not that the publisher's own usage guide isn't as permissive as it gets. Next up is the American Heritage Dictionary. Unlike Webster's New World and like Merriam-Webster's, it's also available online and as a mobile app. Now, the first edition of this baby, which I don't have, was published in 1969 by William and Mary Morris in response to the increasing permissiveness of Merriam-Webster's dictionaries. Now, what separates the American Heritage Dictionary, or at least this 5th edition, from Merriam-Webster's Collegiate and Webster's New World isn't just its color illustrations and rich word histories, but its usage notes. Not that Merriam-Webster's Collegiate and Webster's New World don't both have usage notes of their own, but the frequency and depth of the usage notes in American Heritage are kind of hard to beat, in my opinion. I mean, go ahead and visit the American Heritage Dictionary website and look up one of the many words we've discussed on this channel. See what you find. Leave a comment below if you find something that piques your interest. And of course, there is the American Heritage Dictionary's famous usage panel, comprising some of the best-known writers and speakers in the world, from Ta-Nehisi Coates to Adam Gopnik to Amy Tan, which is not to say I always agree with the panel's decisions. And you won't either. The penultimate dictionary on our list is Random House Webster's Unabridged.
Yes, unabridged.
But before you get too excited, number one, Random House laid off its lexicographers a long time ago, and this was actually published in 2001. It's the most recent edition as far as I know, And as for its college or desk reference, I think the most recent edition was published in 2004, so these are actually pretty behind if you're looking for current coverage of the English language, but I only include it here because it's still in print, and at least for the words that were good enough for Stephen King, it's a pretty good dictionary. Last but not least is Collins Dictionary. Most important thing to note about this one is that it covers British English. So all those differences in spelling that I mentioned, you're going to find them in here. According to the preface in this 2018 printing of the 13th edition, Collins dictionaries have actually been around since at least the 19th century, which means it has a lineage at least as long as Merriam-Webster's, sounds like. And the great thing is that it's still in print. I actually got this off of Amazon, and you can too if you're curious about the differences and the subtleties of British English. Now, some of you may be wondering, what about dictionary.com? It actually represents these three dictionaries combined: Collins, American Heritage, and Random House. It uses Random House for American usage, Collins Dictionary for British usage, and supplements it with information from the American Heritage Dictionary. Obviously, the lexicographers at dictionary.com have added hundreds of new words since those three books were last published. It is an online dictionary after all. So, which dictionary do you plan on picking up as you follow along with our discussions of English usage? Leave a comment below and let us know. And get on it, because next video, we talk about using a dictionary like a prig. Don't be shy, but be careful. And remember, propriety is always in.